where the rubber always meets the road, I think. Actually, I'm not even sure what that means.
Heartland Newsfeed Radio Network, live at heartlandnewsfeed.com.
Hey, good Thursday to you. It's time once again for RFD Illinois. I'm DeLoss Yankee.
I'm Rita Frazier. You have been here for a couple days in Orlando.
That's right. Got in Monday night. Bear had its advocacy forum. In fact, we will talk in just a little bit with Matt Bennett, who is also down here. Matt, you remember when we saluted gays a couple days ago? He's from Windsor, which is right over there on that Route 16 area, and we'll talk a little bit about corn and soybean prices going ahead, uncertainty about China, and all those things. You rolled in yesterday, right?
Yes, and, it was almost hot.
Clouds are rolling in. Wednesday morning was nice. Clouds have been rolling in. We're in Convention Center the whole time. But Commodity Classic is taking place this week. Thousands, and I think 3,900 was the number of farmers who will be here. And we have a big day coming up later today, in fact.
Yeah, we sure do. Both of us are going to hit the trade show running, along with Farm Week's Dan Grant and a few others from the Farm Bureau. And we are going to try to find out what's new ahead of this 19 growing season.
Been a couple of press releases, in fact. Illinois Corn has, Renewable Fuels Association has. We'll probably see more along the way as well with USDA Secretary Sonny Perdue, who'll be here tomorrow, and I'm sure he'll have answers about this tomorrow. He made the comment that the E15 waiver may not get finalized before the start of the summer driving season, so we'll hear about that as well. Also, later in the program, weather and chicken markets with Jim Taylor. It was 79 yesterday. Did you know that? 79 in Orlando.
Are we going to go back home?
Eventually, yes. Stay tuned. Plenty to come here on RFD, Illinois.
RFD Radio Network's Jim Taylor connects rural routes for you. You can trust Jim every morning for your overnight markets. He gets up early to help keep farmers on top of their game. Here's a bit about his rural routes.
I have the opportunity to cover something different every day and provide listeners with up-to-date markets, news they need to do their job and be successful, from legislative issues to crop updates and weather, of course.
Be it routes or routes, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Have you found the best management practices for your farm? Join Moultrie County Farm Bureau and several other partners as we demonstrate the benefits of a saturated buffer. Join farmer Clint Robinson near Sullivan, Illinois on Wednesday, March 20th at 10:30 a.m. Enjoy a free lunch and learn about this innovative practice. Call Moultrie County Farm Bureau at 217-728-4214 and reserve your spot today. Visit the Illinois Farm Bureau Facebook page for more information.
In Orlando, visiting with Matt Bennett, Windsor area farmer along Route 16, and also to be part of a new project you'll find on the website agmarket.net. So here we are just before the 1st of March, wondering at this point, especially as this wheat market continues to pinch corn, hopefully we can see a benefit between here and planting season, right? I mean, we're getting a little too far into 2019 to be scratching our heads here, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely been frustrating here lately, especially this week. We went into the weekend with some good news, and I mean, most of the rhetoric I'm hearing and that you're hearing and most of us are hearing from people that are close to the situation with the trade war, if you will, things sound really good. It sounds to me like we're going to get an agreement put in place. Hey, the U.S. needs it, China needs it, the global economy needs it, something's going to happen, and if the rumors are true and we get $30 billion on top of our pre-trade war levels, boy, that's a huge boon for U.S. agriculture, and it could really be a shot in the arm for producers. The thing that we have to watch and the thing that's easy to see, the trade is not buying in just yet. It's a show-me-the-money type mentality. They want to see some rubber hit the road here before they get too excited.
Not even a buy the rumor, sell the fact situation.
No, I mean, it's more of a sell the rumor, hopefully buy the fact. You know, I mean, who knows what's going to happen here, but I think that corn in its situation, you've got the tightest stocks-to-use ratio on corn in the U.S. since we've seen in 2012, you know, and then as far as the world's concerned, if you extract Chinese stocks, and by all means, means we can extract Chinese stocks considering they don't export corn on the world market. You're in the tightest situation you saw since 2012. So in both of those situations, we certainly could see a rally warranted.
Matt Bennett's starting a new project called agmarket.net. He will be speaking today, in fact, at a session at Commodity Classic. We saw him earlier this week as part of Bear's Advocacy Forum. He's from Windsor in Shelby County, just off 16 between Mattoon and Shelbyville. Meanwhile, the China talks have also been big in the news in D.C., where a sinking farm economy and China trade talks dominated two hearings as USDA Secretary Sonny Perdue and U.S. Trade Ambassador Robert Lighthizer testified before key panels. Our Washington correspondent Matt Kay reports.
Secretary Perdue left no doubt about the dire conditions in farm country, with farm income down by half since 2013, capital off by 70%, debt rising quickly, and a world crop glut leaving little hope. Perdue told ag lawmakers net farm income will rise to just $77.6 billion this year from $66 billion in 18, compounded by news that a long-awaited rule to allow year-round E15 sales might not be ready for this summer's driving season. Perdue was pressed on the need to get farmers help quickly.
Our Farm Bill Implementation Group formally met on December the 20th and assigned them to responsible agencies and finalized timelines for implementation. We also have already begun and are getting stakeholder input on how best to implement the provisions,
including continuous CRP sign-ups later this year and the start of the new dairy margin program possibly by mid-June. Perdue regrets lawmakers deferred action on disaster aid, key for many ag regions, but took fire from Democrats over administration plans to implement food stamp work requirements kept out of the Farm Bill. Longtime food stamp defender Jim McGovern threatened court action, and Ohio Democrat Marcia Fudge had this.
You say you comply with it, but you turn around and try to promulgate a rule that is in direct conflict to something we just put in the bill last year.
Perdue hit back with quotes from former Democratic Presidents Bill Clinton and Franklin Roosevelt strongly backing welfare reform. And the Secretary repeated earlier warnings if Democrats kill the new U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement.
I think it would be devastating, and I hope everyone and all 434 of your colleagues understand the threat it would be to the U.S. economy, especially the ag economy, if we don't ratify that. I hope that, frankly, everyone here, who I believe is well-intended, will put partisan politics aside to vote for the benefit of the country.
We'll hear from Secretary Perdue at Classic tomorrow. Meanwhile, the Illinois Department of Agriculture should today have a ruling related to dicamba. We'll have reaction as soon as we can. And Rita's up next on RFD, Illinois.
Clean water matters to all of us. For years, farmers have been calling for clean water and clear rules because we know it's possible to have both. Now is the time to make your voice heard. Text WATERS to 52886 and support the new clean water rule proposed by the EPA and Army Corps. Don't wait. The 60-day comment period has begun, so text WATERS to 52886. Contact your local county farm bureau for more information on clean water and clear rules.
Attention corn farmers. Your corn checkoff dollars are working with the U.S. Meat Export Federation to grow red meat export volumes. Because when we're exporting beef, we're also exporting corn. The beef industry consumes 28% of all corn fed to livestock, plus additional corn in the form of DDGs, a co-product of ethanol production. Now that's what we call working an angle. Your checkoff is working corn from all angles. Because of the Illinois Corn Marketing Board, your profitability is our bottom line. A message from the Illinois Corn Checkoff.
We're back here on RFD Illinois. I'm Rita Frazier. Well, Illinois farmer Roger Sy continues to be heavily involved in the nation's corn business. A past president of the Illinois Corn Growers Association, now on many committees for NCGA and Classic. Caught him yesterday, actually, at the registration desk, helping out as usual. But Roger of Newman in Douglas County talks with us about the happenings of Commodity Classic. Corn growers, and I'm looking at your badge, Roger, and you are heavily involved with National Corn and Classic. Tell us about all the hats you're wearing.
Well, I've been doing this since '96. I was on the grower board. Now I'm on the corn marketing board. I recruited a lot of people for the years, so I have a recruiter's badge hanging on there. I'm a member of the Corn Pack now, so we're getting ready to have our big auction this evening. So we're working at that today. I've had a couple of their leadership classes, and I'm a delegate. We have 120-some delegates that'll be talking over policy issues tomorrow and Saturday. So I'm one of Illinois' 18 delegates.
Well represented for sure for Illinois corn. Why do farmers come to Classic?
This is one of the premier places if you want to find out what's really going on in ag. We have a huge show now, a lot like Louisville. The equipment manufacturers has joined us as one of our contributors. So they put on a huge show. All the new equipment's up there, all the new seed companies, and actually anything you want, whether it's fertilizer, your insurance for your farm. A lot of the companies come that do marketing things for us, so it's just a huge show. Usually about, I think there's 800 or 900 and some different exhibitors. Not to mention we have sessions that are called Win Sessions, what is new. And all the big name companies, your seed companies, chemical companies and such put on special shows and how-to things with their products and what's coming out new that'll benefit all the farmers. And it's not just for corn. We also have sorghum and wheat and soybean people that are here. So it's a good chance to rub elbows and just see what's going on with everybody all around the U.S.
Have you ever left Classic without something you can use on your farm?
Oh, never. There's always so many things to pick up. It's almost hard to work it all in the next year when you go home.
So the delegate portion of your responsibilities here, tell us about a few of the issues that you guys will be discussing here.
One of the big things we're working on naturally is always ethanol. And right now we're working on getting some higher levels of it, 15%, 25%. We're working with the auto dealers. We're working with the pump people that make them and whatnot. Some states look at it a little different than others, so we just try to get together and talk over our differences and see how we can all work together on it. Nutrient management is always huge. Our people out on the East Coast that are our members, they've been working for years with Chesapeake Bay and stuff. This is moving our way. Ohio's had some things go on. Iowa's had some things go on. So it's in our area. So we have to make policy changes as we go along to adapt to what's coming our way and trying to work with it.
How long do you have to talk to any farmers before trade comes up as a topic?
This year, not very long. Now, most years, that's really not on top of people's minds, but we've got a pretty good trade policy part of our book, so I don't think there's a lot that really needs to be changed there. It's funny to talk to people. You can almost tell who the Trump supporters are and who they aren't, because some think this is the way to go, we're doing it the right way, we're going to get there, and others will go, oh, my God, we're going to lose business, will we ever get it back? So, like I said, it's a wide assortment.
So tell us, then you go back from Classic, turn the calendar to March. What does your farm look like in central Illinois?
Well, we've had plenty of moisture this winter, that's for sure. There wasn't much fertilizer and hardly any nitrogen got on last fall, so that's kind of a concern this year. We want to make sure we can get it when we need it and try to get it there. If these rains keep up and all the snows in the northern part, what's the Mississippi River going to be like? Are we going to have trouble getting the barges up and down to get the stuff we actually need? The seed seems to be in good shape. We've got plenty and good quality seed, it seems like. It's just a matter of the weather drying out and away we go.
And what about the attitude here? It does seem, we can hear some music in the background. Everyone's aware of the ag economy, but it does seem like people come here to recharge their batteries.
You're exactly right. We always do it in a warm place, and Orlando right now is being great to us. I don't know what's probably upper 70s today, sunny, gorgeous day, and they come here with the right attitude. They don't come here, grumpy about what's really going on. They come to get a new sense of a new start for this coming year. They can find out so many new things, so it's kind of a rebirth. And these are the top-notch people around the U.S. that come to these things. So it's really good to sit and talk with them, plus the people we do the business with.
And your attitude's always a good one. So heading into 2019, what are your thoughts, and what's on your mind?
Well, naturally, we would love to be able to get the corn prices up. We work with that all the time because our mission is to improve the profitability of the Illinois corn grower. The ways to do that, like I mentioned earlier, are the things we've said through trade, nutrient management, ethanol use. So, we just start the year like we always do. You got to start with a positive attitude, and we've got to grow a crop. We got to plant it one way or another, so just keep going.
But we're well aware in Illinois that if the ag economy is down, that affects every community, north to south, east to west.
Mm-hmm. You're exactly right, and we find out that a lot of farmers are still holding grain from last year and some from the year before. So, that makes a big difference. When's that going to hit the market? What's that going to do to the prices? It's a constant worry on our part. We deal with the checkoff, so we have to be prudent with the money to begin with, but what are we going to have in the future? What will the yields be? What will the weather be like? All that comes into play. So that's what I like about this. It's a challenge, and yet it's so rewarding when things do work.
Just about 30 seconds remain here, but you are also an NCGA recruiter. You've recruited for ICGA. Why be a member of the Corn Growers Association?
Because the representing we get in Washington, D.C., and right now even in the state. Things are going to be very important. We're changing over to a whole new group in Springfield, and we'll be spending a lot more time there because the farm issues are going to come to the top there that we really haven't had to deal with for years.
Where do you send folks if they're interested in membership or learning anything about Illinois corn or national corn?
You can go online. There's an NCGA website, just ncga.com, or Illinois is the same, Illinois Corn Growers Association. Our office is in Bloomington, Illinois, so we would love to hear from everybody. Everybody needs to be a part of this because we're working every day for all the corn growers.
Roger Sy Farms, Newman, Illinois, here at Commodity Classic 2019.
With the RFD Ag Market Summary for this Thursday morning, I'm Jim Taylor. Corn a bit lower, beans steady, and wheat ending Wednesday a bit lower. March corn closing at 363 3/4, down 2.5. May corn down 2 1/4, 373 3/4, and July corn down 2 1/4, 382 1/4. March beans closing at 903 1/2, down 1/4. May beans down 1/4, 916 3/4, and July beans 930 1/2, unchanged. March wheat closing at 461, up 3/4. May wheat down 1 1/2, 466 3/4, and July wheat down 2 pennies, 473 1/4. March bean meal 305 even, that's up 180. March bean oil 29.80, down 29 cents. In current electronic overnight trading, March corn up 1/2, May corn unchanged, July corn 382 1/2, up 1/4. March beans in the overnight down 1 1/2. May beans down 2 1/4, and July beans down 2 1/4, 928 1/4. March wheat in the overnight down 1/2, May wheat down 1/4, and July wheat 473 1/2, up 1/4. In the outside markets, April Brent crude oil 66.39, up 118. The April gold contract 13.2650, that's up 5.30. In the livestock market from Wednesday, April lean hogs 55.60, down 12 cents. May lean hogs up 27 cents, 65.60. February live cattle 129.40, down 17 cents. April live cattle unchanged 129.92. That's unchanged. March feeder cattle 143.87, up 42 cents. April feeder cattle up 45 cents, 147.22. Illinois direct barrels and gilts trading $1 lower on Wednesday, 24 to 31. I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather with the early morning weather update on the RFD Radio Network for this Thursday morning. A wide range of temperatures continued from northwest to southeast across the Midwest again yesterday. Here in Illinois, highs range from around 20 in the far northwest corner of the state up to around 60 in the far south. During the past 24 hours, some areas of light snow or flurries have been moving eastward across the northern Midwest with a little bit of light mixed precipitation farther south. Some light mixed precipitation in the form of some flurries, drizzle and freezing drizzle will linger in the southern part of Illinois early today. Drier weather is expected farther north, and no major precipitation is expected across the region through at least the first part of the weekend. Some minor systems will bring chances for some light snow or flurries at times to the northern and central Midwest, with some light mixed precipitation in the south. Temperatures will be a bit cooler across the southern Midwest the next few days, with highs mostly in the 40s. Farther north in Illinois, daytime highs will be in the 20s and 30s through Friday and probably Saturday. A stronger push of Arctic air will be moving southward into the Midwest over the weekend, and at the same time it does look like there will be a chance for a more significant snowfall occurring in the southern Midwest later this weekend, especially affecting parts of central and southern Illinois. Cold Arctic high pressure building in from the north will keep temperatures well below normal across the region early next week. Some moderation is expected later next week, but it still looks like 6 to 10 day temperatures across the Midwest will average well below normal in most locations. Heaviest precipitation during the 6 to 10-day time frame should move back more into the southern part of the country, with near to below normal precipitation across most of the Midwest. Temperatures will likely moderate somewhat for the 11 to 15-day, but still stay below normal in most areas. I'm Dan Hicks from Freeze Notice Weather.
We know you want the best for your family. We do too. That's why Illinois farmers continually look for new ways to help. We're working with Mother Nature to preserve water, protect land, and provide food. From our fields to your table, we want what's best for all of us and for future generations to come. Learn more about conservation efforts at ilfarmersconserve.com. Preserving our water, protecting our land, providing our food.
This message brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau.
The USDA, National Agricultural Statistics Service, or NASS, recently mailed a survey to Illinois farmers that gives your farm a voice. You can help provide important data that will shape the future of nutrient loss and conservation in Illinois. Look for your NASS survey in the mail in early February. If you receive the survey, take a few minutes and complete it, and return it in the prepaid envelope. Together, we are making a difference in Illinois water quality. Visit ilfb.org/NLRS for more information.
All Ag.
All Illinois.
All Now.
There are a lot of smartphone apps out there, but do they have what's important to us here in Illinois? The Farm Week Now app does, and it's always at your fingertips. All Ag, all Illinois, and 24/7 where and when you need it for free. Go to your app or Play Store on your smartphone, hit search, type in Farm Week Now, that's one word, and download it today. Brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau, where we're all about farm, family, and food.
When it comes to our members, Chris Magnuson connects rural routes for you. Chris leads Illinois Farm Bureau's efforts to provide valuable information to our members. He has spent 2 decades with IFB. Here's a bit about his rural roots.
I grew up on a farm with corn, soybeans, and Christmas trees. I've been in ag communication for 3 decades now. My greatest satisfaction has always remained the same, to serve our members.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
That'll do it for RFD Illinois on a Thursday.
Yes, and we want to salute an Illinois farm community of Newman, Illinois, home of Roger Sy. He's here at Classic.
Newman, 865 in Douglas County.
Douglas County.
Hello.
Hello, Newman.
Hello, Newman. Sponsored by Country Financial. Your farm is your family's legacy and part of your hometown heritage. While you work sun up and sun down to get the job done, we're here protecting the things you love every step of the way. Country Financial. Learn more by visiting countrycrop.com. For Jim Taylor, I'm DeLoss Yonke.
I'm Rita Frazier. Have a great day.
This is RFD Today, a daily look at key topics impacting rural Illinois. If you live in Illinois, we examine the issues impacting you, your family, your income, and your community.
Hey, it's RFD Today on a Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor. Hello, everyone. DeLoss and Rita are jet setting. They're still down at the Commodity Classic. They'll be coming your way a bit later in the program. We'll fresh out of the break. No, DeLoss is not trying out for the Kansas City Royals down at the spring training. He's actually covering the Commodity Classic along with Rita, so they're coming up. And then we'll hear from Harry Cooney today from Growmark. Get an energy update. It is RFD Today on a Thursday on the RFD Radio Network.
Harvest Energy Solutions, providing solar energy for your home, farm, or business. You've heard about the exciting opportunity here in Illinois. Now is the time for savings. The renewable energy credits are going fast and soon will be gone. These SREC payments will be paid directly to you as a cash rebate. Harvest Energy Solutions, a family-owned business, will provide a complete turnkey installation and take care of all of the details for you. Reap the benefits of going solar in Illinois and get a payback in as little as 1 year. That's right, just 1 year. Now is the time to go solar with Harvest Energy Solutions. Call today, 888-SOLAR-31. That's 888-SOLAR-31. Financing is available.
Look up, look down, look around. Look up, look down, look around. In the trees and on the ground, 'cause the ALB must be found.
If you're hearing this, you should be concerned about the Asian longhorn beetle, an invasive species that's destroying our trees. But you can help. Look for the signs and help stop the beetle.
Look up, look down, look around. Look up, look down, look around. In the trees and on the ground, 'cause the ALB must be found.
Some signs of the ALB are dime-sized holes on tree trunks, a sawdust-like material called frass, and the beetle itself, with a long black body and white spots.
Look up, look down, look around. Look up, look down, look around. In the trees and on the ground, 'cause the ALB must be found.
Learn all the signs and how to report them at AsianLonghornedBeetle.com. That's AsianLonghornedBeetle.com.
Farm Week and Partners Magazine editor Chris Anderson connects rural routes for you. Chris shares her 4 decades of riding expertise by making sure each edition delivers the best information. Here's a bit about her rural roots.
I was raised on a farm in Champaign County growing corn, soybeans, popcorn, pumpkins, and poultry. My top priority is to inform, educate, and even entertain Farm Bureau members.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Have you found the best management practices for your farm? Join Moultrie County Farm Bureau and several other partners as we demonstrate the benefits of a saturated buffer. Join farmer Clint Robinson near Sullivan, Illinois on Wednesday, March 20th at 10:30 a.m. Enjoy a free lunch and learn about this innovative practice. Call Moultrie County Farm Bureau at 217-728-4214 and reserve your spot today. Visit the Illinois Farm Bureau Facebook page for more information.
Welcome back to RFD Today on a Thursday. I'm DeLos Yankee. They've just opened the trade show here for media at Commodity Classic, and we went right to AgriGold. John Kermickle is here. Richland County, a lot of southeast Illinois roots at AgriGold.
Yes, that's right, Loss. So I actually grew up there and have some farm ground with my brother who still farms the ground for me, and we love Olney, Illinois.
How'd you guys do last year? I'm hearing yields in southeastern part of the state that I really didn't think I would hear very much. So hopefully you guys had a good year too.
So absolutely, it depended on what part of each county you were in. So the north part of our home county, we had record yields, the best corn and soybeans we've ever had. The southern part of the county didn't have as much rain, but the year before they had better yields. So it always comes back to Mother Nature, doesn't it?
That 10-inch rain in September, that didn't knock you out at all?
No, we were fine. I mean, the harvest got delayed, from time to time, but overall, state of Illinois had record yields. So.
AgriGold, part of AgriLiant, they went through a little branding change a couple of years ago. They kept a couple of brands, including yours.
Yes.
So I think that sounds like a pretty good compliment to the name you guys have built.
Yes, AgriGold, actually, we started in 1979, came out of the Funks G and Golden Harvest brands and started the AgriGold brand, and we've been extremely successful working directly with growers across the Midwest now and even into the South, Mid-South, and Southeast.
I was going to say, so a lot of roots in Lawrence County and Richland County, but you got corn all over and you're reaching farmers all over.
Basically, we sell now from Nebraska to the East Coast and then southern Minnesota, southern Wisconsin, all the way to even some customers in Louisiana and Georgia. So pretty well, wherever corn is growing, we try to be.
Wherever corn is growing, I thought you were going to say wherever FFA members be, but that was from a different era. So surely they can take pallets at this point, I imagine a lot of people have their corn acres figured out, but soybeans, could be in the air. And as many people are still with a long to-do list that they didn't get done in the fall, you might have to move on the fly quite a bit in the next month or two.
Bloss, I've been doing this over 35 years, and this is one of the most unique years I've ever seen. A lot of energy around corn. We continue to get orders, people increasing their orders, and soybeans just not as much interest. Obviously we got to get this export thing figured out, and prices a little stronger. But a lot of energy around corn. So I firmly believe in USDA's more corn acres.
Yeah. You have some signage up here, and it mentions how many state winners you had. I think it was 28 winners in state contests. There's something fun about whatever that is on the yield monitor. There's something fun about growing corn.
Well, and the thing we're proud of, we had the 28 state winners, but we did it with 8 different hybrids. A lot of brands are known for 1 or 2 hybrids, and to do it across many states with 8 different products, that's was a big win for us.
What are a couple things for 2019? Rootworm or disease pressure, anything like that?
I think the biggest thing for 2019, all the farmers growing up on a farm, we always worry about these dry springs. Well, we don't have a dry spring. We've got plenty of moisture. So I think people are concerned. You mentioned not being able to get the anhydrous on last fall. There's a lot of work to do this spring. So people are getting a little bit nervous and hoping things will settle down. I think it's the big thing right now.
Yeah. Now, you guys wouldn't put on fall applied nitrogen, but when people up north don't, do you still get nervous about what's the supply chain even going to look like?
It's a challenge. There's only so much out there, and then just the time to get it on. So, but farmers are amazing, and the way they can work through challenges, I'm sure once we get rolling, we can put a crop in 5 to 7 days, so it'll happen quickly like it always does.
I asked Don Duvall about this. He's in Carmi, so he's south of 64.
Yes.
I'm going to guess you flew out of Evansville. So the Wabash and everything like that, is it just everything's out?
It's crazy. I was actually in Nashville this past weekend, and just record, Interstate 24's shut down because of mudslides. So just an amazing spring so far with the amount of rain. But like I say, we worked through it, and it's got the moisture there to start another big crop.
All right, where do we go? Surely there are local retailers that would be happy to sell you a few bags.
Absolutely. Just call our office at the 800 number, 800-262-7333, and we'll get you in touch with the right people.
Tell me about soybeans. I know the interest hasn't been quite as much, but for soybeans and especially for weed management, what are a couple things that you have to offer, and also, being good neighbors with other folks with other kind of soybean bags as well?
So we've just been in the soybean business 3 years, and it's been a really nice addition to our program. We're 100% extend soybeans, and looking at other options, but boy, the yields have just been phenomenal. I think, I could be wrong on this, but I think Illinois had the highest yield of any state this past year on soybeans, and I think that just speaks to what we can do with soybeans. Soybeans are no longer the forgotten crop. I mean, the technology and the traits and chemistry applications, fungicides, these beans can do amazing things.
Illinois had 65, and none of the other major states even had 60.
Yeah.
So pretty amazing. And here's what I really want to know: this harsh winter. Now, you guys haven't been as harsh,
right?
So hopefully that hasn't hurt the white squirrel population.
Right. I wondered when the white squirrel conversation would come up, and yes, that's what Olney's known for, and we're very proud of it. We actually have an annual census and count the white squirrels, and it's a struggle to keep the population. We have usually about 100 to 110 that they find in the count.
I've been in the fairgrounds there in the middle of town, and I have not seen them. The only one I see is that plastic one that's in front of a bank on 130. So hopefully I'll find one someday. Thanks a bunch, John.
Thanks, DeLoss. A lot of fun.
John Kermickle in Olney in Richland County with AgriGold, and their signage says, "Learn from the masters, elite corn hybrids and select soybean varieties." When we come back, Wesley Spurlock is a co-chair of Commodity Classic. We'll talk to him next on RFD Today.
Stoller International is Central Illinois' premier Case IH dealership with convenient locations in Pontiac, Herscher, Mononk, Streator, and Ottawa, Illinois. Come see our large selection of farm equipment and parts. More coming up on RFD today.
And FarmWeekNow.com journalist Daniel Grant connects rural routes for you. With more than 2 decades of reporting under his belt, Dan is the go-to source for farmers when it comes to commodities. Here's a bit about his rural roots.
I grew up on a grain and livestock farm near Roseville in Warren County. What I love about my job is working with people, traveling across Illinois, and visiting farms along the way.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
We know you want the best for your family. We do too. That's why Illinois farmers continually look for new ways to help. We're working with Mother Nature to preserve water, protect land, and provide food. From our fields to your table, we want what's best for all of us and for future generations to come. Learn more about conservation efforts at ilfarmersconserve.com. Preserving our water, protecting our land, providing our food.
This message brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau.
You're going to need me.
You're going to need us.
All of us.
You're going to need our technical skills,
our math, our engineering skills.
You're going to need our help with your water, your air, your food.
You're going to need our organizational skills, our problem-solving skills.
You're going to need our determination, our honesty, our compassion.
You're going to need the next generation of leaders to face the challenges the future will bring.
And we promise, we'll be there when you need us.
Today, 4-H is growing the next generation of leaders. Support us at 4h.org.
About 70% of U.S. adults age 65 or older have high blood pressure, and only about half have it under control. Blood pressure medicine can protect the heart, brain, and kidneys, but many people aren't taking it as directed. This means they may skip doses or stop taking it altogether. To help patients, healthcare systems can involve the entire healthcare team to ensure patients are taking medicine as directed. Simplify blood pressure treatment by prescribing 90-day refills and combination medicines. Coordinate pill refills and prescribe generic medicines. Encourage the use of home blood pressure monitors and address financial barriers such as high copays and deductibles. Patients, follow your healthcare team's instructions on how much medicine to take, how often, and how long to take it. Ask questions about how to correctly take your medicines and why you need them. Use weekly pill boxes or a reminder system to keep track of when to take medicine. To learn more, visit cdc.gov/vital signs.
All right, welcome back. We're at Commodity Classic 2019 in Orlando, and just happened in the hallway. You see thousands of people, and here's Wesley Spurlock, past president, National Corn Growers Association, co-chair of Commodity Classic. So, how's everything going?
It looks like it's going to be a great time to be in Orlando with Commodity Classic going on. We've got about 8,000 people registered at this point, pretty close to 8,000, and about 3,800 farmers are here. So those they're here for education and trade show and have a great time.
You know, you probably came here for years. Recently, you've come here, you're in meetings all the time. You probably came here as Wesley the farmer for a while. What are a couple of things that you really would hope to accomplish by coming to this? You know, it's a huge trade show. There's a lot to do, but what would you try to get out?
I was going to say, if you drop down on the trade show, one of the really neat things you can do is when you're there, you're not only, if you go into these big booths and you're talking, there's researchers there that help produce these products, the engineers on the machinery side. So you get to talk to those people, not only salesmen, but there's these individuals that help put this together. And so they're on the floor to be there. Besides that, then you get up and you go into these educational programs that we have put together, that the Classic Committee's put together, which is all farmers. And so you get that education, and you can learn while you're here and enjoying the sunshine and the warmth of Florida.
Mm-hmm. Clouds are rolling in, so nobody feel too bad for us while the clouds are rolling in down here. For, where you farm in northern Texas, folks in different parts of Illinois, that sort of thing, hopefully there are still, like, you don't want to just be in a room saying, well, that's not going to work on my farm. Surely you can find something here that would make a difference, no matter soil type or county or whatever the projected yield is supposed to be.
Really, that's all producers across the nation are awfully close to alike in what they do. We may plant a little earlier or a little later. I raise corn-cotton rotation. There's a tremendous amount of corn-soybean, wheat, grain sorghum. So a little bit of everything that is produced and done here, you can look at and make it work on your farm, whether that's the livestock side of a lot of our farms or it's the grain sides.
Corn, cotton, is that because it's so dry, or is that something benefiting the soil as well?
Our area, we're really high pH, and so our soybeans, we can raise absolutely beautiful soybeans, but our yields are really inconsistent. I may make a 20-bushel bean or might make a 70-bushel bean. But so with pHs in the 7.8, 7.9 to 8.3, our beans were really inconsistent. So the corn the high pH doesn't bother the corn. So we high yield on corn, and then the cotton, we do high yields on cotton, but we also have the right weather and temperament for cotton.
Gotcha. Yeah, good weather and temperament. Have you seen acres shift at all for either crop in recent years?
Probably in the Texas Panhandle, we have shifted more to the cotton acres, away from our winter wheat. And some of this happened because of the amount of water that we are restricted on water use on our irrigation. And so in our water district, that limits what we can do. And wheat being in the ground 9 months was taking more water actually than our cotton being in the ground for the 4.5 months of the growing cycle.
When this started almost 25 years ago, it made a lot of sense. Corn guys, soybean guys got together and said, look, we're all going to the same trade show anyway. Why don't we have it at the same time? Who is all a part of this now?
So now you still got National Corn Growers Association and American Soybean Association. They are the owners of Classic. But we have the affiliates, which is the National Grain Sorghum Association and the National Wheat Growers Association. So our national sorghum and wheat are both in here. And then the Association of Equipment Manufacturers, AEM, is now an affiliate and part of our program, and they're one of the bigger parts. They have got lots of booth space here, lots of knowledge, because they run a couple of awfully big shows in the nation and around the world.
Well, it makes sense. The same people that are here for production issues are the ones operating the equipment, so that makes sense. Now our Atlantis Convention Center is massive, by the way, so you wouldn't get too big here because this thing is huge. But has that had an impact on where you go? I know San Antonio's on the calendar for a couple of years, but we want it to be big and we want people to be able to come to it, but at the same time, we don't want to burst the seams either.
And that's right. People loved being in Nashville at the Gaylord, but we outgrew it a long time ago. And so we've outgrown several cities, so we end up being, like you said, we're in Orlando. This is a beautiful facility, big in there. San Antonio, we're there next year, and actually the next year because we outgrew one of the cities that we had on the list. We try to book 10 years out, 10 to 12 years, and we're looking at 11, 12, 13, and 14 years out right now, and having to figure where can we go, who can we do it with.
And when you do it, because McCormick Place at the end of February could be a little dicey.
That's right. You can get into that weather that you really don't like.
Right.
We know as we go further out, we've got Denver is one of them that's on our list because we had to fill a slot where we changed. So Denver could be a little different, but Denver, the weather comes and warms right back up. So it should be great at that point. Houston is going to be on the list. We go back to New Orleans, and at some point we'll be back in Anaheim again.
Well, good to see you. Glad I bumped into you, and best of luck this week.
Well, thank you, and we'll hope to have a great year here in Classic in Orlando.
All right, you can follow us also on Twitter using the hashtag Classic19. Simple as that. Wesley Spurlock from Stratford, Texas on RFD today.
More farm news and information ahead. Stay tuned for more RFD Today here on the Illinois Farm Bureau Radio Network.
RFD Radio Network's DeLoss Yankee connects rural routes for you. DeLoss delivers essential farm and food-related news to our listeners. His witty voice has been heard on the air for more than 2 decades. Here's a bit about his rural roots.
Growing up on a farm prepared me for my career. I try to know a little about a lot of things and let the people I interview be the experts. I've always wanted to be on the radio. I'm just happy to do what I enjoy.
Be it routes or roots, RFD Radio, FarmWeekNow.com, and Farm Week keep you connected.
Attention corn farmers. Your corn checkoff dollars are working with the U.S. Meat Export Federation to grow red meat export volumes. Because when we're exporting beef, we're also exporting corn. The beef industry consumes 28% of all corn fed to livestock, plus additional corn in the form of DDGs, a co-product of ethanol production. Now that's what we call working an angle. Your checkoff is working corn from all angles. Because of the Illinois Corn Marketing Board, your profitability is our bottom line. A message from the Illinois Corn Checkoff.
The USDA, National Agricultural Statistics Service, or NASS, recently mailed a survey to Illinois farmers that gives your farm a voice. You can help provide important data that will shape the future of nutrient loss and conservation in Illinois. Look for your NASS survey in the mail in early February. If you receive the survey, take a few minutes and complete it and return it in the prepaid envelope. Together, we are making a difference in Illinois water quality. Visit ilfb.org/NLRS for more information.
Warmer weather means a longer honeydew list. Your county farm bureau can help you stay on top of your project list and save you money along the way. A Farm Bureau membership offer includes discounts on equipment and supplies from Grainger, plus free shipping on all standard Grainger products. Browse thousands of items from landscaping equipment to power tools. Anything you need to get the job done, Grainger has it. Not a Farm Bureau member? Call us at 309-557-2689. Or visit Illinois Farm Bureau online and join today.
All Ag.
All Illinois.
All now.
There are a lot of smartphone apps out there, but do they have what's important to us here in Illinois? The Farm Week Now app does, and it's always at your fingertips. All Ag, all Illinois, and 24/7 where and when you need it for free. Go to your app or Play Store on your smartphone, hit search, type in Farm Week Now, that's one word, and download it today. Brought to you by Illinois Farm Bureau, where we're all about farm, family, and food.
If you're in the mood for some sprucing up, you're in luck. From big to small or farm to front yard, your Illinois Farm Bureau member discount from John Deere is ready and waiting to help. It's easy to think green when it's the Rewards Loyalty Program, with savings on equipment, special parts, and home and workshop products. Whether your tasks involve mowing, planting, or cleaning, you'll be set for whatever your work requires. All you need to do is sign up, have your membership number handy, and go to johndeere.com/Farm Bureau.
All right, RFD today on Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor. Sell it now, sell it fast with Farm Week classified ads. Call our toll-free number 800-573-6120. Monday and Tuesday, 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m., Wednesday, 8:30 to 10 a.m., or submit online at farmweeknow.com. We change directions now from the Commodity Classic, although Harry Cooney and Dan Paneer are here from Growmark. They're complaining that they're not in Orlando. I'm complaining that I'm not in Orlando. And when I talked to a good friend, Dale Dirkholtz at AgriVisor yesterday, he's complaining that he's not in Orlando. So it's just the big wigs that get to go down there, right?
Hey, that's right. Jim, Dan, and I said that we'd be willing to fly down to Orlando if you needed us to fill in down there. And
well, actually, all three of us could go, and we could be the three very best friends anyone could have, right?
We could do that, and we could extend our time even more than 10 minutes here. We could go 15 minutes if we're in Orlando. So.
All right. Well, and I was telling Harry Cooney off the air, I've been around long enough that I know the backstory for a lot of these people, and I broadcast a high school basketball game last night, the alma mater of Harry Cooney, Sterling Newman Central Catholic, and no, it wasn't Harry Cooney bobblehead night last night.
No, I can imagine it wouldn't have been
the Big Blue.
All
right, let's get into the energy market. First up, consumption has to be going through the roof in the Midwestern states, including Illinois, with some of these dangerously cold wind chills we've had, and we're having some more unseasonably, I think, 20 to 40 degrees below normal temperatures coming up this weekend. So fire up the furnace.
That's right. Propane demand. Dan's from the propane department here, but Dan's propane stock's still fairly adequate in the Midwest.
Propane overall, you look back at last year compared to last year, the Midwest, which is your Conway market, that's what supplies us here in the Midwest. It's 21% ahead of last year. Gulf Coast, there's a little bit of that that flows up the pipe out of Bellevue, Texas, into the Indiana, Ohio market area, and then on up to the Northeast. That's almost 25% above last year. So overall, compared to last year, we're about 25% above overall in the U.S. You do look back at the 5-year averages a little bit. We are behind on the 5-year averages, but keep in mind we had there'd be 110 million barrel build we had in there one year, Harry, if I remember right. So there's one or two fairly big years in that 5-year average that maybe you kind of got to put them to the wayside. So maybe that's why last year to this year looks quite a bit better than the 5-year average. Overall, it feels like we're fairly well supplied in the Midwest. I mean, you look at things, and spring's got to come here sometime, I think. I'm just not for sure when.
Ain't this weekend.
Yeah, it's not this weekend. Doesn't look like it's for the next 2 weeks yet. So, always a time you want to make sure that you've got product in your tank there so that you can crank up that furnace over the weekend and don't let it run empty, and all of a sudden you got to call the guy out after you've ran out. That would not be a good weekend to do that, that's for sure. So just encourage them to make sure they continue to keep product in their tank. It looks like we got 2 or 3 weeks of this, Jeff.
Well, and that's when you explain, from that type of perspective. But the end line, what has it really meant for the consumer this winter? You say rather simply, make sure your tank is filled up. We look at the past couple of winters we've had, unseasonably mild temperatures. And this has been a great difference here this year. I mean, have you heard stories where people just flat run out because they're not prepared with all the usage they've had this winter with the temperatures the way they are?
I think there's been a few of them out there in the country. I haven't heard an overwhelming by any means, but I'm sure there's a few of them out there. I think nowadays there's so many of them that almost like a keep fill. They base it off of heating degree days, go out and fill them. So, I don't think there's a big need that people are running out. But, if you're one of them that you order it and watch your tank, make sure you got product in there because it looks like we got a couple more weeks to go here.
Well, and then the other issue I think about this winter, how challenging it is for the distribution to the driver to get it to the location. That's been a challenge.
Well, that has
this year here.
Yeah, especially Jim out in Iowa and Wisconsin, Minnesota. Where they've had the big snows here recently. But when you think about it, back here, in the central and eastern part of the Midwest, we had like open water on our ponds up until probably the 5th of January or so this year. So, I mean, it's just been in the last half of the year and that's why these stocks of propane are still very adequate. I mean, we're not going to run out of propane at all. I mean, it's just that it looks like there's going to be a little colder weather staying around a little longer than what we'd normally have. Now, the propane looks very good. The product that's in tight supply right now is over in the diesel fuel market. Diesel fuel is considered to be number 2 oil, diesel fuel, but in the number 1 oil market where they use and they mix it with number 2 when it gets real cold, that number 1 supply is in pretty tight shape here right now. You really don't want to have too much number 1 oil sitting around going into spring because the premium can get up 50 cents to $1 over the regular diesel fuel. But this is a year, like I say, it's speed but don't get caught. So you don't want to run out of it. but you don't want to be holding much at the end of the season. Now, when's the end of the season this year? That's the thing.
And that's the big question. We're talking with Harry Cooney this morning and Dan Pannier with Growmark, and we have more conversation coming up as we're listening to the RFD Radio Network and RFD Today on a Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor. Farmers value clean water, and every day they're working to leave the land, air, and water in better shape for their families, neighbors, and future generations. In recent years, federal agencies have muddied the waters with overreaching rules and regulations that are more about controlling land than protecting water. The new Clean Water Rule announced by the Environmental Protection Agency and Army Corps provides clarity so farmers can comply with the law while protecting the environment, growing crops, and tending livestock. The new rule would end years of uncertainty over where federal jurisdiction begins and ends. Now is the time to make your voice heard. Text WATERS to 52886 and support the new Clean Water Rule proposed by the EPA and Army Corps. Don't wait. The 60-day comment period has begun, so text WATERS to 52886. Contact your local county farm bureau for more information on clean water and clear rules. Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network on this Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn a bit lower, beans lower, and wheat also trading lower at this hour. March corn $3.63, down 3/4. May corn down 1.5, $3.72 1/4, and July corn down a penny and a quarter, $3.81. March beans currently $9.01 1/4, down 2 1/4. May beans down 2 3/4, $9.14, and July beans down 2 3/4, $9.27 3/4. March wheat at this hour down a nickel, $4.56. May wheat $4.63, down 3 3/4, and July wheat down 3 1/4, $4.70 even. March bean meal $3.0360. That is down $1.40, and March bean oil currently $29.95, up 15 cents. That's a look at the latest numbers at the Chicago Board of Trade on this Thursday. I'm Jim Taylor for the RFD Radio Network. All right, Jim Taylor back on the RFD Radio Network on RFD Today on this Thursday. We have Dan Pannier and Harry Cooney with us with Growmark. And one final question here, Dan Pannier, about, talking about the adequate stocks for propane with this harsh winter we have. So the adequate stocks, that I assume is good news then for the end user, the consumer out there then, in terms of price.
Oh, yeah. As you look at it in terms of price, as you have adequate stocks, you would believe that you're going to lead into, some very good prices here as you get into the summer. And as you talk summer fill, it leads you to believe that, if things keep picking up here, you should see some pretty good summer fill numbers.
All right. Well, let's talk about some other energies. Harry Cooney, what about the diesel situation and diesel stocks? We'll get into gas, too, as you said Johnny, Jenny, and Jimmy getting on the roads. I forget the other names you threw in there for summer travel.
Well, we always have Mommy and Daddy and Billy and Bobby.
Okay,
and
that's the name.
They're always taking off.
I use Jimmy.
Yeah, don't get them mixed up now, you see. We have getting ready for the summer vacation season, and right now very adequate stocks of gasoline. A couple things to talk about on the liquid fuel front, that we have quite a few refineries going to be taking some downtime for retooling and or maintenance here in the next couple of months. And they always tend to do this in the spring and the fall. They take downtime. So then they tweak themselves to make a little bit more gasoline as they head into that driving season. And then in the fall, they retweak them back the other way to make more heating oil and diesel fuel in the wintertime. So going into that period, stocks are very adequate, though. Gasoline stocks on the upper end of the historical range for even this time of the year. And normally there's not a lot of vacations going on here right now, even though spring break seems like it picks up quite a bit of activity anymore. But diesel stocks right in the middle of the historical range. The one thing in gasoline and diesel fuel that's been interesting this year that you don't normally see is the gasoline market has been trading at times 50 cents under the diesel fuel market. Now, you could say, well, is gas 50 under diesel or is diesel 50 over gas? And yes, I mean, whichever way you want to look at it. But that's been a story here that will be watched as we go out further into the year to see if that difference comes together somewhat, and my guess it will. Staying 50 cents difference between the two is pretty much a very wide level.
So the summer driving season then looks pretty reasonable then for the consumer? Yeah,
summer driving season should be fairly reasonable in price. I think pumps will stair-step higher from where they're at to some higher levels, but still I don't think we will try to reach any of the levels that we had there 5 or 6, 7 years ago, whenever it was, where we were at very high levels.
Yeah, well, and just your assessment right now with prices at the pump.
Yeah.
Trekking a little higher.
Oh, yeah, I think the thing is with gasoline, the clean air standards usually add on, at least 10 to 15 cents on the gasoline pumps as you go throughout the spring. And that happens every year. So usually from your winter lows, you start adding on some to price going out into spring and summer. I still think it'll be reasonable, what I consider to be reasonable, though, as you get out into summer. You never know when some major story is going to come along and erupt things, but from what we see right now, the summer driving season should be very adequate in supply, and price should be a little higher than where we're at now.
Yeah, it's interesting when you say, these refinery issues or addressing them and shutting them down. I know initial reaction from some consumers will say, oh, man, what? the prices are going to go up. They're shutting down refineries.
It's just typical retooling of the refineries, and in most cases, they're not shutting the refineries totally down. They might have 3 major crude units at a refinery, and they're taking one of them offline to work on them, let's say. So it's not like somebody's going up to the wall and flipping the switch off on all the refineries in the Midwest. It's nothing like that. But it does seem like this year there's a little bit more of refinery activity for retooling going on than has been other years.
And you always worry about what hurricane season brings too, right?
Sure.
That's unknown.
That's right. And the hurricane season, we're still a number of months away. It usually starts right around Memorial Day or June 1st and lasts till late fall. And we watch that real close. It can affect a lot of the refineries along the Gulf Coast. It tends to be west of New Orleans, all the way over to probably around Brownsville, Texas. So all the western 2/3 of the Gulf of Mexico's coastline, we really watch that pretty close throughout the summertime period. That's right.
All right. And what about the diesel stocks in the diesel market moving forward?
Yeah, diesel stocks, very adequate. Diesel stocks came out of last year really tight. And diesel stocks have recovered quite well. Diesel stocks are well up in the middle of their historical range now. They're not quite like gasoline. Gasoline stocks are even above their historical range, but diesel stocks are up in the middle of the historical range. And so diesel inventories for the spring planting season should be very adequate. And I think the number of people who worked with their FS member cooperatives this past winter here, well, I guess we're still in winter, and got some product locked in for this usage year for spring and fall. And if you still have a need, talk to your local FS member cooperative about the programs they offer for liquid fuel contracting and be ready for the new season. But it does look like that supplies will be adequate at least going into the springtime.
So talking with Dan Paneer here and Harry Cooney, and Harry said during the break, there's just not a lot going on. And I guess you can say that fair assessment because the stocks in the diesel market, the petroleum market, the propane market, they're all good. So we ain't got nothing to worry about.
That's right. I mean, just as soon as I say that, I'll get back to my desk and something will be flipping across the news wires. But right now, it's a fairly quiet situation, and the economy seems to be going along pretty well. The stock market's back up above 25,000, and the news stories have been somewhat light here in the past month or so.
And then as far as like the crude oil market right now, your assessment of that?
Well, crude oil stocks are right in the middle of their historical range, and so crude oil prices have rallied since probably Christmas time. They're probably getting a little overdone here in the near term. My guess is in the next month or so we'll see some type of price setback just from normal seasonal tendencies, and then after it tries some setback, it'll probably try to rally even further out into spring and summer. So that's what we would normally see, and so I have to go on some of the seasonal tendencies there.
All right, so next time you come on, we hope for a lot more action, but we still want, I guess, the stock levels to be at a good place.
So you want a lot more action, but cheaper prices.
Yeah, cheaper prices.
So I understand that.
That's what amen, brother. That's what everybody wants. Dan Pannier at Growmark with us, and Harry Cooney. Have a good day. Thanks for coming in today. Appreciate it. Thank you. You're listening to the RFD Radio Network and RFD Today. Let's check daily livestock news on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Biosecurity every day on the farm is critically important for pig farms. Swine Health Information Executive Director Dr. Paul Sundberg advises farmers to think globally and act locally.
Be very vigilant about international contacts and the origin of any products that are coming onto your farm, whether that's food that people carry on, or whether it's feed for the pigs. I talked to the feed suppliers about the origin of your feed.
Sundberg asked farmers to be aware of what is happening around the world and focus on biosecurity.
That can be a tiring word and a tiring process, but biosecurity every day on the farm is really important. You think globally and look over the hill and look across the water to things that are happening around the world. Think globally, but act locally.
Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
How do people benefit from raising livestock here in Illinois? Rich Giebert, Illinois farmer, president of the Illinois Farm Bureau.
Well, growing up on a livestock farm was always interesting, and I enjoy it more today than I did back then. But it did give me the opportunity to have a good work ethic, learn to get up in the morning. And that was difficult during my senior days at high school and college days. I had a tendency not to go to bed at a respectable hour. But no, it was always enjoyable on the farm and getting up before daybreak and milking the cows and getting the chores done and then go about the rest of the day's business.
Illinois Farm Bureau, along with beef, corn, milk, pork, and soybean associations, make up the Livestock Development Group, supporting the Illinois livestock sector. For more information, check out illinoislivestock.org.
Welcome back. We're in Orlando. I'm DeLoss Yankee on RFD Today with Scott Gaffner. Bond County farmer, first term on the board of the Illinois Soybean Association, so started last August. First of all, thank you, and a little warmer down here than it is back home, I assume.
Oh, sure. It's a lot nicer down here for sure.
Well, clouds were rolling in yesterday afternoon, and so it's just, and we're in meeting rooms anyway, so in some cases it doesn't really matter. But tell us about the farm, a little bit north of town, and what all goes on there.
Sure. I was raised on a multi-generational grain and dairy farm at the time. We are now just grain farmers. The dairy industry, just we had talked about earlier, just has its own challenges as well. We are mostly producing corn and soybeans, and my father had actually been on the soybean board for leading up to the time period where I came on the board, so I took over a seat that he had previously occupied. So I look forward to working with the soybean farmers within the area.
So they didn't have to look far to find someone to take his seat. That's pretty good.
No, and I had the opportunity to learn a couple years leading up to this. I was on the Soy Ambassador Program, which really helps us to understand what goes on within the soybean industry and how we can help promote soybeans worldwide.
Hopefully, in some ways, some of the things that he was probably talking about when he started are still being talked about, and hopefully then there are some new developments in there as well. But sometimes it takes a while to advance some of these policies, some of these efforts.
Absolutely. I think we have come a long way since he has been farming, my father. And of course, technology is pushing us forward quickly, and I see just technology adapting at a tremendous rate. And I see within the next 5 to 10 years, my father not even fully understanding the technology that's being involved with farming.
Did you have to change the outlook of the crops and the rotation after you got out of dairy cows? Was there alfalfa before that isn't anymore, or was there wheat to graze that isn't anymore?
Yeah, sure, yeah. You transition a lot from what you were using because of the necessity of what you were feeding the cows or using the straw for bedding. So, of course, we've changed that somewhat, as well as the market prices change and dictate a lot of that as well.
Yeah. So, Greenville, it's right around 40 miles to St. Louis, but it would take a while to truck to St. Louis, so hopefully there are options nearby.
Well, as far as grain, we take it to the river, is where we take our grain. Of course, if you're growing seed for Pioneer or some of the other plants, then you're going to that location, which is, about 40 to 50 minutes away as well. So it just depends on what your marketing strategy is.
Gotcha. All right. So a couple things going on down here at Commodity Classic. What are a couple things that Illinois soybeans involved with?
Sure. We're always trying to look ahead. We're trying to just determine, what innovative technological advancements are out there to try to help educate our farmers, to make them more productive, to make them more profitable. And part of that formula is blockchain. I know one of our directors is on the panel to talk about blockchain, how it can be utilized for farmers in the future. Do we fully understand the full capabilities of blockchain? And the answer to that, I think, is probably not at this point in time, not fully. But we're trying to understand how it can be used, how it can be made profitable for farmers. And so that's one of the initiatives that we're looking at.
Give me a little quick dime store definition of what blockchain is. What do you mean by that?
Well, blockchain, just in a simple term, is the ability to be able to basically track your commodity from the field to the final destination in a manner that ensures the integrity of that product, as well as if there's an issue during that whole chain, basically as the chain is in links, to be able to track that fully to the very end. If there's an issue with the product at the very end, that's you can determine whose fault it was, or if there's a benefit of it, then hopefully you get that reward of sending that product from your farm directly to the end user.
I thought that's what you meant. So if there's a premium, and if I have the data to show, even before planting, but field work and how I grow it, and even what kind of protein or what kind of content may be in there, if there's a premium and a reasonable delivery point, then whatever it takes to help achieve profitability.
Absolutely. If we think about containerization, and I know that's something that we're trying to look at too, is how can we use these containers that are up in the Chicagoland area for farmers to make it profitable. Patriot Shipping is a company that's looking at trying to put these containers on the barge systems within the rivers to put more within the river system. So how can we use blockchain to show a product coming from a farmer in a container all the way to the end user? And that product is not mixed with some other state's commodity or some other state's soybeans. It's yours. It has your name on it. It has your the protein. It has all the good things coming from your farm. So how can we make that more profitable for each farmer to be beneficial?
You see that in the grocery store sometimes where it'll say, here's the picture of the farmer and these are his potatoes. And maybe either they're his or he's had some there at some point. So, this kind of thing has been done and probably could be done. At the same time, you certainly hope that 5 years later, 10 years later, that buyer is still out there, that interest is still out there.
Sure. If you have that good of a commodity, and it may be a thing of, hey, when you think of soy, you think of Illinois. You could put your name on that because it's going from your farm to the final user. So I don't know. We're just exploring out what are the possibilities. So this is one of the things we're looking at, of course, technology in this. I mean, we're always looking for what kind of advancements are out there that would be beneficial for the farmers, make them more profitable, make them more productive, make them better stewards of the ground as well. So,
Scott Gaffner, first term on the Board of Directors, Illinois Soybean Association from Commodity Classic in Orlando. I'm DeLoss Yankee saying watch your ends. We'll be back in studio tomorrow.
More farm news and information ahead. Stay tuned for more RFD Today here on the Illinois Farm Bureau Radio Network.